Test, test. Yeah.
All right, Miguel, mic check. Mic check for Miguel.
Test, test, test.
Good. Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you, Miguel. Maybe you can explain yourself first and
Okay,
introduce yourself to the.
wonderful. Okay, my name is Miguel Clarke. I am a retired special agent from the FBI. I was in the FBI for almost 24 years, and during that time, I worked computer intrusions, national security matters, counterterrorism, gangs and counter narcotics. So lots of different things that we had done. But I'm actually here now with Armor as a cybersecurity evangelist. And so that's what we're talking about today is just some of how my experiences from the FBI and investigating hundreds of computer intrusion cases translates to the private sector and cybersecurity.
Yeah, you can see that Miguel is the expert of the cybersecurity. So my question is, how is the urgency of enhancing cybersecurity, but not only for the company, but also for the individuals? Because as we know that uh, there's a lot of hacking going around this year, and then as you mentioned earlier, that data loss is the primary concern with the 82%. So
Okay.
yeah.
So, in my experience, what I found is that people don't think a lot about cybersecurity. They don't think about being the victim of a data breach until it happens. So it's one of those things that until it happens to you, you don't think it will happen to you, and so we don't pay a lot of attention to it. You think about whenever you buy something new that you enjoy, like say a new car, you don't think about being in a car accident. You think about driving the car, and I think it's the same way with cybersecurity, where people are just not prepared for bad outcomes, and that's just really difficult for them to recover if they haven't made some level of preparation as to how to be resilient after a breach.
So the risk mitigation is the real important thing here, yeah.
Yeah, so mitigating risk, and we use that term risk mitigation a lot. And so really what we want to do is we want to take something, your business that you do that's inherently risky, and then how can I get that big pool of risk, all the things that could go wrong, and then limit that to a small number of things that can go wrong, and make sure that I'm prepared to deal with those things. Some of those things you're able to avoid by making good decisions, and other things you're going to need technology and partnerships in order to be able to do that. So as an example, I would say what is said about pilots, right? And these are very, very talented individuals who are skilled flyers. And what they do is they use their superior decision making so they don't put themselves in situations where they need to use superior skills. And so that's what we're talking about here. Making good decisions to limit the amount of risk that you're exposed to, and then being able to have a good plan for the things that you're likely to face after you've made those good decisions.
But thank you, yes, sir. So, but now, how to raise the awareness for the small business to start developing for the cybersecurity? Because maybe what they need to do first, and maybe because the small business have the little resources compared to the bigger one.
Okay, so the first thing is really raising the awareness, and I'm not sure how much more needs to be done to raise awareness for cybersecurity. Right, every time you turn on the news, or if you read in the newspaper, you see online, breaches are happening every single day. Right, so the awareness is not a supply problem. Right, there's a lot of information already available. It's a demand problem. People aren't asking the right questions because it doesn't personally impact them. So it's the same thing like when you start to think about whether or not you need to live a more healthy life. Right, typically people don't think about living a healthier life until they have a problem. And then when it becomes something that's personal to them, then you start to see the behavior changes required to make the kind of impact that's needed for resilience.
So cybersecurity now has become a necessity, yeah, for the corporation in the era of digitalization. So my question is, what if the company still have the funding issues to spend on cybersecurity?
So, what if companies don't have the money to spend on cybersecurity? So, in my experience, you're going to spend money either way, right? So, you're just choosing where you want to spend that money, and you're choosing who decides where you spend it. If you make plans beforehand, then you get the opportunity to choose where you spend your money. If you wait until later, you defer the decision, then the adversary takes action, and then you have very few decisions that you can make, right? You'll have to spend money in remediation. There will be costs that are associated with reputational losses and everything that you need for your business to get back to good, if you will. So there's always money available, right? You're either going to spend it up front for prevention, or you're going to spend it in the back end in trying to cure whatever the issue might be.
So the money is not the issue, yeah. You have to spend it.
You're going to have to spend it, and it's really a matter of prioritization.
Yeah.
So as soon as you figure out that there's something that's more important that you need to do, you realize there's a bigger issue that you're trying to solve, then people tend to dedicate more money by deprioritizing other issues and then taking the money and just diverting it from one area to another area. And that's really what success is going to look like. It's going to look like figuring out what your risk posture is, what's important for your business, what you're the most concerned about, what's going to have the most negative impact on the business, and then allocating the appropriate amount of resources to preventing those bad outcomes.
So we'll move on to the. Maybe you can give a little solutions how to tackle the cyber threat these days.
Okay, solutions to the cyber threat. This is a difficult question that you have asked. It is not an easy one. Operating in a digital environment is normal, just like we now operate in an environment where electricity is normal. And we have to change the way that we have a relationship with electricity now, because everything depends on electricity. The batteries, the camera, the microphone, everything depends on electricity. And cyber information is now one of those things that's coming up that is a lot like electricity. So there will always be threats. There will always be bad guys. There will always be people who misuse technology. And so I think the only thing that can be done is to prepare for the most likely scenarios that you're going to find. So in the earlier part of the presentation we had earlier today, I mentioned to form an incident response team, whatever that incident that you're concerned about, form a team that's multidisciplinary, and then start making plans as to how you're going to respond in the event of a significant or serious incident. And then practice, right? Do some things that you can, whatever you can do for free. It only is going to cost you the time. And then practice responding to those scenarios and situations that you feel are going to be the most likely to happen. And doing those things, you get better every time you do it. And then cybersecurity becomes less of a concern.
Okay. So thank you for
Oh,
your
you're
wonderful
welcome.
answer and insights. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Man, you are